My name is Josh Mason and I'm studying sport management, and I'm going to compete in the Euroformula Open Championship, which is European Formula 3 racing. So far the course is going well. Obviously it's my first year and passing all my assignments which need to be done, which is a good start. Yeah, it's going really well, thank you. Well, actually where it all started is that actually me and my dad used to do a lot of sim racing against each other when I was 13. And we used to go to this place in Hawley called Let's Race to compete. And one day I won one of the races there, and the one person I was racing against, he was telling me that I did any go-karting before, and I said no. So we thought it would be a good idea to sort of jump into go-kart, because I always loved racing as a child, but we just never really got into it seriously. Then I started competing professional karting when I was 14, only for 18 months. Before, to some people, I did a big leap from go-karting straight into British Formula 3 in 2018, but I only did half the season as I was still doing my GCSEs at the time, so that took over priority. And then I competed in British F3 for extra 2 years in 2019 and 2020 before I made the move up last season doing the Euro F3 Championship. I think my favourite track which I've driven so far probably has to be Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, only because there's one particular corner called a Rouge which is just incredible. I remember the first time I went for a Rouge, I was 16 years old, and I went for a Rouge at 120 miles an hour at 16. And you know, up to this day I've gone for a Rouge 100 times, and it still gives me butterflies before I go into the corner, because it's so fast and you have to be so precise of your driving to get it right. It's actually pretty good for me, actually. You know, by living off campus, you know, it gives me a chance to continue my training for racing and do work at home. You know, due to the pandemic also, that sort of helped in a way with all the things with online learning and things like that, which is suitable for me. You know, I think when I combine the two, you know, there'll be some days where I'll be at the racetrack and I have to go to one of my online lectures. So on a mental side, it can be quite difficult, because racing takes a lot out of the mind. And to jump out of the car, straight to your laptop to do some schoolwork or university work is quite difficult. But if I look at it for a whole year, you know, I technically will finish racing around October time. So once I'm done with that, I can concentrate on university work all the way until March, April the following year. And when university finishes in June, July time, then I concentrate on racing the whole time. So it's actually quite a fine balance. Yeah, because I think the reason why I chose sport management, because racing business is a business. So I chose the subject in the way of, you know, I'm in the sport as an athlete, but to understand how the business side works, which is something it's quite good to have. So that when I finish university, or if I don't pursue as a full-time racing driver, I can still keep in the sport with like becoming a manager for a team or managing a driver, because I'll have that knowledge from a business and an athlete side. I think for a racer, obviously it has to be, for me, it has to be Lewis Hamilton, for what he's achieved for people who look like me as well, and what he's done to open doors for people like me to get into some sport like this. But also someone I drove a race against actually in 2018 was actually Billy Monger, which was very inspirational, even though he's one of my competitors that year. You know, for him to jump back in a car after the accident he had, you know, that was quite an eye-opener and quite inspiring for me. To answer that question, I think a lot of self-belief and a lot of confidence, and you know, if you want to achieve anything, you know, everyone knows within yourself you have to work hard for it, and you know, it all comes back to self-belief, in my opinion. Hopefully in 5 years' time I'll be on the Formula 1 grid, hopefully, one day. But if that doesn't materialise, then I'd love to do some endurance racing in like ELMS, Le Mans Series type sort of racing.